Do you remember the story Exiting Egypt with Moses? Where God went through Egypt, but he passed over the houses that had lamb's blood on the doorframes? Jews celebrate this story with an annual feast called Passover. Well, today we're going to hear what happened to Jesus at the time of the Passover feast. The time came for the annual Passover feast in Jerusalem, so Jesus and his followers set off. On the way to Jerusalem, Jesus said, "In Jerusalem, I'm going to be arrested. I'll be beaten and bruised and executed like a criminal. But on the third day, I'm going to come back to life." Jesus' disciples didn't know what he was talking about. When they got to Jerusalem, every day Jesus went to the temple to teach people. And many evenings, he and his followers would go to an olive grove and pray. One night in the olive grove, a band of men with swords and clubs and flaming torches came. They arrested Jesus and dragged him off to the religious council. The religious council asked Jesus, "Are you God's promised king?" Jesus said, "If I said yes, you wouldn't believe me. But one day you will see me sitting beside God in the position of power. Blasphemy! He claims to be equal to God. He deserves to be executed." But only the Romans had authority to execute people. So they took Jesus to the Roman governor and said, "This criminal causes riots everywhere he goes, and he claims to be a king." The governor questioned Jesus. Then he said, "I find him innocent." But the people yelled, "Execute him! Execute him!" And the religious leaders said, "According to our law, he deserves to die. He says he's God's son." The governor questioned Jesus a second time. Then he said, "I find him innocent." But the people yelled, "Execute him! Execute him!" A third time the governor said, "I find him innocent." But the people yelled, "Execute him!" And finally, the governor gave in and handed Jesus over to be executed. The soldiers took Jesus to a place named Skull Hill. They nailed his hands to a cross and hung him up to die. There were two criminals being executed at the same time, one on each side of Jesus. One of them called out, "Hey, aren't you supposed to be God's chosen king? Save yourself and us too while you're at it." The other one said, "Don't talk like that to him. We deserve this punishment. But this guy, he's done nothing wrong. Jesus, remember me when you become king." Jesus said, "I promise you, today you'll be with me in heaven." After that, the land became dark for 3 hours. Then Jesus called out in a loud voice, "It is finished!" And he died. When the captain in charge of the execution saw all this, he said, "This man must have been God's son." If it's 2014 and you haven't already done so, don't forget to go and fill out this survey. Tune in 2 weeks' time to find out what happened next on Storytime with Josh.